obviously I just wanted him here. I didn't want to try and get some sleep and rest. So she got me to do steps on the bathtub. It was really hard. It was really hard. And she sat down next to me on the bathtub while I was doing the steps, and she was smiling at me. And I looked at her and I was just like, ugh. And she was like, what? And I told her that I was mad at her because she wouldn't send me so that I could get drugs. Because by then I was so over it. And I wanted drugs. But no, she said that we wouldn't even make it, even if she did send me on the ambulance. So we just carried on doing the steps, and the contractions started worsening, getting really intense.
Oh, yeah.
So she stood behind me and she did my pressure points on my back and my hips.
Pushed on her pressure points.
Yeah, pushed on my pressure points.
To help relieve the pain, eh?
Which it did. It worked so well for me. When she did it, it felt better. Like, I mean, the pain wasn't gone, but it felt much better because she walked away for a couple of my contractions and they were just so bad. Oh, they were getting to the point where I couldn't speak to anybody and I couldn't even think about anything else but the contraction. So obviously I was in a lot of pain. She asked where I felt like most comfortable having my contractions, and I told her that my contractions felt better while I was sitting on the toilet because my hips were more open. So I went and I had like 4 contractions on the toilet, which were the worst. And I could feel him, with each contraction that I had on the toilet, I could feel him dropping further down. And I knew that he was going to come soon. And so I said to her that I didn't want to have him on the toilet. And I couldn't decide whether I wanted to get onto the bed or into the bath. So I was like walking back and forth. And then I decided that I wanted to get onto the bed. I was climbing up and then I felt a contraction coming. So instead of getting onto the bed, I walked to the end of the bed to hold onto the pole to like brace myself. And I started pushing and then my waters broke and then I felt his head just drop like right there. The whole entire time that I was pushing, their son Teo was singing You Are My Sunshine in the background. And I was just focusing in on that while to like try and take myself away from the pain. My midwife said he's coming. And so Tristan came behind me because he was going to catch baby.
Because I was way too chicken.
Yeah, it was supposed to be age, but
yeah,
scared about dropping him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had Tristan and the midwife in between my legs. And I think he came out in what felt like to me 3 pushes. But I did have to, the midwife was telling me that I had to slow down because he was coming out too fast. No, he didn't.
Also, it was really cool watching. So when she was pushing baby out, we couldn't fit. Nobody else could fit where she was. So like she was kind of squashed between the bed and the bath. There was only enough room there for Tristan, and the midwife was still kind of off to the side. Midwife had a second midwife come in who also couldn't fit around there, and she's saying to me, "Go, you go," and I'm thinking, there's nowhere to go. So I was like standing on the other side of the bath trying to watch our baby being born. It was funny, but it was so very cool. So as soon as baby came out, I went back around to the other side of the bed and I was watching Tristan, and he was like, had that baby clutched so tight, he wasn't going anywhere, but he was like covered in all this stuff. And then he had this really weird look on his face. He was like, oh my gosh, you know, it was surprise, it was astonishment, it was wow, I've got this baby in my arms. this is the best feeling ever. It was like that. It was weird. It was all in just a look. He didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But man, it was so surreal. It was one of the most beautiful experiences ever.
Also because Tristan has 5 kids, right?
Yep.
And out of those 5 kids, this was his first time catching his baby.
Yeah.
He was born at 11:51 p.m. on the 2nd of November. Tristan caught him. They helped me turn around and sit on the bed, and then Tristan put him up on my chest. He got the towels put over him. Did we try and latch straight away?
No.
And then even when he came, I didn't even turn around straight away to look at him. I put my head in the pillows because I was like so happy that he was out. And yeah. And then he started crying, and then I turned around.
And you started crying.
And then I started crying.
I know, I want to cry.
And then everybody started crying.
Wow.
And then, yeah, I turned around. Our midwife helped me turn around and put me on the bed. And then Tristan put our baby up on my chest. And they put warm towels on him and me. I can't really remember when we tried to latch our baby, but I know it wasn't straight away.
Nah.
We just had some skin to skin first.
Yeah.
And then they tried to... Not yet. The placenta. My placenta took so long to come out. I was having contractions still, and they were really intense. It took longer to push my placenta out than it did to push our baby out. And Tristan had to keep moving me up further on the bed because our midwife thought that if I was more upright, then gravity would just help.
Do its thing. Yeah.
Do its thing, yeah. Which eventually it did. The placenta came out, and then I think... No, he was already breastfeeding while I was trying to push my placenta out.
Oh, was he? Far out.
Yeah. Well, second baby, like with our first one, I waited until the midwife came over and helped me latch him. But with my second, I was just like, I know what I'm doing. I'll just latch him myself. So he was feeding. He fed for around 2 hours. Yeah. In that time, our midwife went out and got us McDonald's because I was hungry. I was starving.
Yes.
And Age was thirsty.
Hard work sitting there paying the bills.
I got one continuous stitch. I think it was pretty like deep tears. And I got a perennial stitch as well. So after the midwife got back with our McDonald's and baby had finished feeding, I got up and Tristan helped me have a shower while our midwife done our baby's checks. And then when I got out of the shower, baby was all dressed and wrapped, and we were ready to go into another room. The like delivery room, into the rooms where you stay after you've had a baby. Around 3 o'clock that our midwife finally got to leave and go home, and then Tristan left as well to come home to Anna. And because only one person's allowed to stay at the hospital, so Age stayed with us. Our first night was good because he had just had a big feed. We were told that newborns can sleep a really, really long time after they've just been born because they've just been born and they're really exhausted. So he slept from around 3 o'clock in the morning to, I would say, till 7 o'clock. I woke him up to have a feed.
Anyway, so after we had our baby, we only stayed in the hospital for one night and then we went home. Yeah. Well, actually, it was just the rest of that night and then we went home.
show our baby and then we'll end the video. He's sleeping right now, so you can't see his eyes, but this is our baby. We only have a first name right now, which is Hikurangi Tristan, named after his papa. He right now is 8 days old today.
He's 8 days old today.
Well, at 11:51 tonight, he'll be 8 days old.
Yeah.
And he's perfect.
Okay, so if you like what you've just seen, please give us a big thumbs up, like and subscribe, and the next time we upload something, you'll be one of the first to know. Kia ora.
Ka kite.